Thank you, pioneers, for the opportunity to be giving a keynote talk this year. I'm truly honored, so let's get into it. Out of the 20 years I have been alive, I have spent 11 fighting for my health, safety, community, and environment. Since the age of 9, I have been tirelessly advocating to end urban oil drilling with a just transition. I have been fighting monsters. Going up against the oil industry, archdiocese, and broken regulatory system is not a walk in the park. However, that has never mattered to me because there's only one thing that matters in this situation: my community. You see, to get a better understanding, I'd have to take you back in time, so let me attempt to do so without a fancy time machine. The year is 2010. I'm 9 years old, in fourth grade, living with my mom, three siblings, grandma, and great grandparents. Honestly, living my best 9-year-old life. One night, as I'm coming home from a late night yoga class with my sister, I'm overwhelmed with this guava scent. A smell so bad, I was immediately sickened to my stomach and my head hurt immediately. Thinking it was just a random smell, I kept on walking and ignored it. As soon as we got home, the house was empty. Mind you, it was late and we're a big family, so that was really odd. Suddenly, my mom burst out of the room and asks us to follow her. We then see our entire family clustered in my sister's room, ready for a family room sleepover. My mom set up an air filter and explained to us that the guava scent was coming from our next door neighbor, an oil well, Alanco Energy. Fast forward to the next morning, on my usual walk to school, I stopped by the doors I passed every day. I stared at the big doors and the tall brick wall and read each sign on that wall. Behind these walls was my silent killer, a threat I had yet to meet, but who already knew me. I lived 30 feet from an active oil well that operates on land leased to them by the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. When drilling for oil, there are many toxic emissions released into the air harmful to one's health. Alanco would use even more chemicals to mask the smell, so then my community would smell of chocolate, citrus, guava, cherries for miles on end. In my personal experience, what began with headaches and stomach pains developed into nosebleeds so intense I couldn't sleep in my bed. I'd had to sleep in a chair to prevent choking on my own blood at night. Body spasms so intense I had to be carried from place to place because I would freeze up. Heart palpitations, and I had to use a heart monitor for several weeks. But it wasn't just me, just my family. It was most of my community. We live in what are called sacrifice zones. These industries will do studies to see what communities are most vulnerable and know less about their rights. But they chose the wrong community. In January of 2011, Alanco had a leak that lasted a week long. My community filed over 300 complaints to South Coast Air Quality Management District within a single week. While this leak happened, we were constantly inhaling toxins and chemicals, and none of us were relocated. This was only the beginning of our fight. In the year 2013, I helped found People Not Pozos, a grassroots campaign that fights to permanently shut down Alanco Energy. It was up to us to become the experts, up to us to defend ourselves. After 4 years of town hall meetings, city hall hearings, door-to-door knocking, we were fortunate to have the Los Angeles Times write a story about our community efforts. That article captured the attention of U.S. Senator Barbara Boxer. She flew out and had a press conference with my community in front of Alanco, where she pleaded Alanco to cease operations. And I'm very proud to say Alanco has been temporarily shut down for 8 years now because of our efforts. We then noticed we weren't the only community being affected by oil extraction. Los Angeles is the largest urban oil field in the nation. Over 580,000 Angelenos live within a quarter of a mile or less to an active oil and gas well. And over 93% of that number is made up of Black, Indigenous people of color. So Stand Delay was born. Stand Together Against Neighborhood Drilling Los Angeles. Stand has been essential in the fight towards ending urban oil drilling. I am also a co-founder of the South Central Youth Leadership Coalition. With Youth for Environmental Justice, we sued the city of Los Angeles in 2015 for violation of CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, and environmental racism, and we won. Now, when reopening or expanding wells, there is a new application itself and a memorandum. This win was monumental. We, the youth, did that. We claimed our future back. Oftentimes in this work, we are overlooked. When I began my activism, I was often told, "You don't know what you're talking about, you're only 12." And to them, I say, "You're right. You're right. I don't know everything. I don't fully understand everything, but I know my story. I know my community's story, how we've been affected on the front lines. And that's what I'm going to share." Storytelling is a very compelling form of activism. I like to think of myself as a normal young adult. The only difference is I found my passion much sooner than most. It's also the same reason that pushes me to fight so hard. I had my childhood robbed of me. While most kids were outside playing, I wasn't allowed outside in order to limit my exposure to toxins. I had health issues and had constant fear and anxiety from my neighbor. You see, these wells maintain such high pressure. They need to be opened every 10 to 15 minutes to release pressure to prevent an explosion. We were living on top of a bomb. These wells don't have any form of emergency evacuation planned for the surrounding community. Alanco operates with 9 surrounding schools in the area and shares a wall with 2 of them, one of them being a high school for children with disabilities such as paraplegia. You can imagine the fear we had if something were to go wrong, if someone took a nap and overslept or was late because of Los Angeles traffic. My community could be gone in a matter of seconds, and nobody would seem to care, it felt like. My upbringing is what drives me to create change. I don't want any other youth to have the childhood I had, so that's why I fight. After high school, I went to Whittier College to pursue my education, where I wanted to create my own major, a combination of political science, economics, international relations. I wanted to become a civil rights lawyer, work for the ACLU, and then establish my career in politics. I had my entire life planned. But there is one thing not in my life plan: cancer. The day is January 15, 2020. I have just had my entire world turned upside down and then some. I was just diagnosed with stage 2 cancer. I only had one question: can I have kids? To which they tearfully answered, no. How do you tell a 19-year-old girl she may never fulfill her dreams of becoming a mother? That the 5 years she spent begging for medical attention went unnoticed, and that the system failed her, and it may cost her her life. I immediately thought of the sign I've read 1,000 times on Elanco's wall that reads, "Dangerous chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer, birth defects, and reproductive harm." That's exactly what I had, a reproductive cancer. I knew then that after fighting so hard for my community, I now had to fight for myself. My life was on the line. After 3 major surgeries, 3 rounds of chemo, 6 weeks of radiation, 8 minor procedures, and fighting off 2 infections, I am very happy to say I am officially 10 months in remission. I fight because I believe everyone has the right to breathe clean air, despite their age, gender, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, or zip code. Clean air is a basic human right, and it's not fair that it's being denied to us. I fight so urban oil drilling is read about in history books. That's why I fight, and why I will continue to fight as long as I am able. Thank you.